show you how I do stenciling. So I'm taking this panel that we did before, and I'm gonna use this, I think this is Stencil Girl stencil, and I'm gonna put it on here. My surface is warm, and the stencil will pretty much stick kind of nicely there. And I'm gonna take my paint. I'm not gonna have a whole lot on here, and I'm just gonna sort of dab the areas. I'm trying to get it to not bleed through the edges. And I'm gonna start building up more and more. And what I want to do is I actually want to fill each little dot a little more than full. Like I don't want it to sink down into where the hole of this stencil is. I want it to be sort of overfilled. I'm just going to take my time dabbing some in here. I have some over here that I'll clean up later. I don't want those. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now what I'll do is I'll take my scraping tool, and I'm going to very gently scrape down and clean some of this off. And I'm doing this very, very lightly because I don't want to take too much off. And I'm basically just getting the thickness of the stencil, that much thickness of wax onto the panel. This makes it easier to clean your stencil later too. Hopefully you can see how it's starting to, starting to show the stencil underneath. It's still pretty warm, so it's really soft. So you can see it's really not a whole lot that's left in there, but there's enough. Okay, that's probably pretty good. Now, what happens if you've done this before, sometimes you pull your stencil off and your image comes off with it. So what I do is I'll take my heat gun, I don't use a torch for this part, and I'll put it on low, and I'll warm it up, and as it warms up, it releases, and I can just lift off the stencil without lifting off my image. So there's just a few areas I had to clean up here on the outside. But you can see I was able to get a nice clean stencil that way.